Iran launched missiles. Israel fired back. And the US? Stuck in the middle. You may have heard that a ceasefire was just announced between Iran and Israel. But here's the truth. Missiles are still flying. So what's going on? Why did Iran target US bases in Qatar and Iraq? Why is Israel still bombing Tehran, even after agreeing to peace? And is this so-called ceasefire just a smokescreen before something much worse? Let's break it down. What just happened? Let's start with the basics. On June 23rd, Iran launched at least 6 ballistic missiles at Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar, home to over 10,000 U.S. troops, and on Al Asad Air Base in Iraq, a major hub for U.S. operations in the region. Iranian state TV called it Operation Herald of Victory. This was not a secret attack. Iran broadcast it proudly, even playing patriotic music during the announcement. So why did they do it? Because just days before, the U.S. bombed Iran's nuclear facilities in Natanz, Fordow, and Isfahan. These were direct hits on sites Tehran says are peaceful. Washington disagrees. Is the ceasefire real? Then came the twist. Donald Trump, yes, Trump, stepped in and said, "We have a complete and total ceasefire between Iran and Israel." He claimed both countries had agreed to stop attacking. Qatar helped broker the deal. Sounds like good news, right? But less than 12 hours later, Israel accused Iran of launching more missiles, one of them hitting Beersheba, killing civilians. Iran said it was simply responding to Zionist aggression, and Israel immediately resumed airstrikes over Tehran. So, what kind of ceasefire is this? Why did Iran target the U.S.? This brings us to the big question. Why did Iran strike U.S. bases? Iran claims it's retaliation for U.S. bombings of its nuclear program. But here's the deeper truth. Iran sees the U.S. as Israel's backer. It believes the U.S. gave the green light, or maybe even helped coordinate, the Israeli attacks. So by striking U.S. military sites, Iran sends a message. If you back Israel, you're not safe either. The scary part? This was the first time in years Iran directly targeted American forces with no proxy, no cover-up. Just bold, open aggression. What's the damage so far? So what's been hit? In Qatar, most of the missiles were reportedly intercepted. No confirmed casualties so far. In Iraq, debris from missiles landed near fuel and logistics buildings. No deaths reported yet. In Israel, however, a missile struck the city of Beersheba, killing at least 4 people and injuring more. Israel's response? A wave of airstrikes on Tehran. Videos online show smoke rising from key infrastructure, including near military compounds. It's not just tit for tat anymore. It's open, rolling retaliation. Is the U.S. going to respond? Right now, the U.S. is in a tight spot. On one hand, American forces were just targeted. That's serious. But on the other hand, responding with force could blow up the ceasefire talks, drag the U.S. deeper into a war between Iran and Israel, and risk wider conflict in the Middle East. So what is the U.S. doing? Deploying more Navy assets, including the USS Gerald R. Ford Carrier Group, alerting allies across the Gulf, and watching closely, very closely. No official military strike has been launched by the U.S. yet, but the situation is being called explosive. Could this spark a bigger war? Here's the scary part. What if this isn't just another flare-up? What if this is the start of something much bigger? Think about it. Iran's missile strike crossed a red line. Israel is bombing Tehran again. The U.S. has been directly targeted. Oil prices are swinging wildly. And Arab countries like Saudi Arabia and the UAE are arming up just in case. Even Russia and China are watching closely, not just as bystanders, but as possible players. If one more missile hits the wrong target, if one more airstrike kills the wrong person, this could spiral into a multi-country war. What happens next? So what's next? That depends on 3 things. Does Iran hold fire now? Or will it strike again? Especially if Israel keeps bombing? Will the U.S. retaliate? If American soldiers are killed, that changes everything. Can diplomacy survive? Qatar, Turkey, and even the Vatican are calling for peace. But is anyone listening? One thing is clear. This ceasefire is paper thin. One gust of wind, and it's gone. We are standing on the edge of something huge. And the next 48 hours could change history. Iran, Israel, the U.S., and maybe the entire region. Don't rely on filtered headlines. If you want the truth as it unfolds, subscribe to Combat Inside Alpha and stay ahead of what's coming. Because the next move might be the one no one walks away from.